Hi, I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian, and this is the Cedar and Sage Hideaway in Sequim, Washington.
Today we're going to give you a tour of this beautiful tiny house, which is part of our small space design series, where we share intriguing small vacation rentals to help you design your dream tiny home.
A lot of people stay in tiny house Airbnbs to kind of get an idea of what it's like to live in a tiny house, which is a great idea, but there are some things missing in an Airbnb that's not in a full-time home.
So we're going to give you some ideas of things to look for to make it work better for you for full-time living.
So one thing that makes the Cedar and Sage Hideaway an amazing place to stay is this outdoor living space.
Hot tub cinema, y'all. It's epic. They have a projector screen right above the hot tub to enjoy movies under the stars while you enjoy some bubbles.
Which is what we did last night.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And for full-time tiny house living, it is always a great idea to create an outdoor living space with a detached deck to give you more space for dining, lounging, and even entertaining.
And a crazy thing with this deck, the front of it's all concrete. When they laid out the pad, they apparently decided to, well, let's make the whole thing concrete. So the whole front of the deck is concrete. It's amazing. I've never seen something like that before.
So it's not going anywhere.
No,
If this tiny house ever left, I guess you could pull another tiny house in and be ready to go.
Yeah, totally.
Welcome inside this beautifully designed 300 square foot gooseneck tiny house. And I have to say, I'm a huge fan of gooseneck tiny homes because you get the benefits of standing height bedrooms that are out of the way of the main footprint of the living space, which means you have more opportunities for storage. I really love the open and airy feeling of the layout, and the color palette is on point. There's something like very soothing about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Starting here in the kitchen, the first thing you're gonna notice is this is a maybe even 2.5 foot kitchen. Look at this.
There's so much room in here. It's amazing.
So this is great for cooking with a partner, you know, if they don't get on your nerves too bad. But seriously, this kitchen is packed full of storage and has a good amount of workspace too. So something you'll notice in here is a nice balance of open shelving and closed cabinetry. And this is a great small space practice, is to reduce the number of upper cabinets because that can make it kind of feel closed in. And here you see you have an opportunity to display some pretty dishes. And the cool thing about this type of metal shelf is that you can add hooks for hanging things below, so it's multifunctional. So for meal prep work, I give this amount of counter space here 2 thumbs up. We do have a couple other pieces throughout the kitchen. One thing I might suggest for full-time living is to try to get as much day-to-day items off the counter as possible. So for instance, this adorable spice rack is actually really cute and handy the way it spins. But if it was my tiny home, I'd probably opt to put these on the wall, maybe a magnet-based storage system here. As you'll notice, there's 2 magnetic strips here already, and I believe these were meant for knife storage. It might be a safety issue for the Airbnb host that they put them in this block. But this is a great way to remove this bulky block from the counter that you can do with spices and other kinds of kitchen utensil storage. This tiny kitchen has full-size appliances from a range to the fridge to a dishwasher. So it is possible in a tiny space. It's just about how you prioritize how you want to use it. And I applaud them for installing this vent hood because that is a must in a tiny space. You want a vent hood that vents to the outside while you're cooking, and an opening window is a good idea too, so those fumes don't just sit in here and stink up everything. And that's especially important when having a gas stove. This kitchen excels at storage, and my favorite kind of storage, which involves pull-outs. Anything you could put on slides is great in a tiny home, especially for deep spaces. This is a giant pantry that's all in the slide system, and you'll notice each of these drawers is at varying heights, which is great for storing different sized items from tall, bulky stuff to smaller foods and pots and pans. In addition to this massive pantry, there are drawers of varying sizes, deep drawers, little bitty drawers. Love it. You can store everything you could possibly want in a kitchen in here. One thing that's not on a drawer slide is the trash can, which just sits under the sink. No problem with that at all. One thing I will highlight when you're staying in an Airbnb to try out tiny house living is always think about the practical stuff. Where will you store your trash can, recycling can, hamper? These are all very important day-to-day things, and not every Airbnb is as well planned out as this, so just keep that in mind on your little checklist during your stay. I appreciate the sink size because it is deep enough to put a pot in here and wash it, and that is one of my absolute must-haves for a tiny house. You gotta be able to do that. Any smaller than pot size, too small. And in this case, because you have this full-size dishwasher, this is more than ample space for doing your dishes. While it is impressive to fit in full-size appliances, if you opt for slightly smaller apartment-size appliances, you'll get more workspace. So definitely keep that in mind. Again, it's priorities.
Another very important room to think about really in depth when you're visiting an Airbnb is the bathroom. So let me show you that. So the design in this bathroom is really nice. I really like the tub and the shower. The tub is actually a cast iron tub, and the shower is all subway tile except for like this accent down the center that looks super cool. So there's a handful of things in this bathroom that you might not notice if you're staying here, but would definitely notice if you were living in this full time. And a few of those things are things like, Alexis is all about this, is this mirror is awesome, but it should really be a medicine cabinet. And a medicine cabinet you can actually do with this mirror. You know, just take it off, build a square, and put some hinges on the side of the mirror so you can open it up and close it. So it's basically shelves on the wall with this attached to it. Or you could buy something that recesses into the wall. All of that would give you this much storage, so you don't have to have things actually on your counter. You can put them away and they're hidden. There's more opportunity in here for storage, and it's all of these walls. So like over here, you could put a couple of shelves, easy peasy. And there's this great full-length mirror over here, which you could do the same thing and create a medicine cabinet out of this too. And it would be really huge, you know, or you could get a smaller mirror. And if you keep your eyes peeled, like at thrift stores and stuff, you could probably find a nice little piece of furniture to go here for a little extra storage and a nice little design element. And here's one thing to think about when you're designing your tiny house, like from start to finish. Think about, do you want to be looking at the toilet from your sofa? Because in a house like this, where the toilet is centered on the doorway, that's exactly what you see. So what could have been done here is the sink could have been where the toilet is and put the toilet where the sink is. That way you're just looking at a sink and maybe even the mirror as opposed to looking at the toilet all the time.
This is a great spacious living room for a tiny house. Plenty of open floor space. I even did some yoga here this morning. And I have to say, this love seat is ridiculously comfortable.
It is comfy.
Gotta find out where they got it from.
Yeah, it's cool. So where this is a great place to just hang out, lounge on a sofa. You know, if you're living in here full time, you're probably gonna have more stuff than's actually in here. So one of the ways you can make this room a little bit better is shelving.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to create more storage is shelving. Think about decorative baskets. It's a great way to hide some like less attractive things.
Yeah, baskets are great. Baskets are awesome. And where these shelves are great up here, when I'm saying shelves, I'm saying like full wall shelves, you know, 3 or 4 high right here, and even going across this whole wall. I mean, you could go up to the ceiling here if you really wanted to. So that is like really maxing out your storage space.
Another way to maximize the storage in here and still have plenty of comfy lounging space would involve rearranging the furniture a little bit. You could put this love seat on the back wall here with a side table, and by doing that, all of a sudden you have this space here to work with to create more storage. And there's different ways you can do. One would be a cute cabinet, like a shoe cabinet. Doesn't have to be for shoes, but you know, one of those like really cute little cabinets that has drawers and shelves where you can store more things. And it makes for a great place to put keys and mail on top.
Oh yeah, oh, that's a good idea.
Right, so when you come in the door, you have these great hooks that are already here. You can add more hooks. Got to have a place to put your jackets when you come home. You can put your shoes underneath the stairs here. Set your keys over here. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, add a storage ottoman that can sit next to the sofa. And now we've created loads of storage.
So like Alexis is saying, if the sofa is over here and you know, you're sitting this way, so you can sit here and look out the door, which is great. But we always want a table in a tiny house. So they make these great coffee tables that, so if you're sitting here, it would actually, at the top would be hard, but it moves so it can come up to your lap, which is amazing. So you can actually sit on the sofa and work or eat dinner or whatever it is. So, you know, in a smaller tiny house where you can't have a designated space for a table, a piece of furniture like that is, I think, a must.
Yeah, that's a great idea. There's one more big opportunity in here to optimize this space for full-time living, and it's this corner with the ladder. This ladder pulls out and goes up to a second loft, which could be used as a second bedroom or as storage space. And you can see here they put this really cute chair that's actually very comfy. So 2 thumbs up, I love a good chair. But my idea would sacrifice this chair, but it would be worth it. So you see, you have this open space to work with. So you could turn this into a compact set of stairs, a lot like Isabel's house that we recently toured. What you would do is put a couple steps up this way to a very small landing that would then turn, and the last steps would go right up into the loft. Yes, these are hardy steps, but it'd be a lot easier taking stuff in and out of the loft with stairs than on a ladder, even one as sturdy as this. That also creates a great storage opportunity because underneath the lower stairs, you could add some drawers.
All right, I know what you're thinking. Like if you're having the stairs this way and stairs that way, that you're gonna have the stairs like right in the middle of your kitchen.
That's a good point.
But what you could do is actually make it so, you know, it's probably like a foot or 2 wide set of stairs. You can make it so it slides in underneath and hides away. So then all of this is still flat, you know, and then it's almost like a little place to put your groceries when you come in from outside up here until you need to get upstairs, and then you just pull it out and walk up. So there's that.
Efficient. And these are the stairs that lead to the main bedroom, and they did something great here. They utilize the space for more storage. I love the cozy nook feeling of this bedroom. This is a unique gooseneck bedroom layout. Normally in a gooseneck bedroom, we see the bed across the back wall, but here they've put it on the side, and I think they built out a little into the living room to make this possible. I slept wonderfully in here last night. There's something about when you feel extra cozy, I don't know, it just works great for sleep. Christian also slept really well in here, but as a 6'2" man, he had a small complaint. They have this headboard and a footboard, that's the thing, on either side, and he could just touch each side of it. So it was like almost too small. It worked, but it was like a little tough. I'm not sure what the purpose of the footboard is, if it's just to hide cords or if there's something else going on there. In the back, I will say the headboard provides a great place to put a cup of tea and a few books for a shelf. If the footboard could go away, it would be better for the talls out there in the world. There is a TV back here. It's made for great cozy movie night vibes. I like that very much. They opted to put it here versus the living room, though you could definitely put this down there if you preferred. There's a place to mount it on the wall. One of the best parts of this bedroom is this great closet space. You have about a 3-foot wide hanging space here. You can fit loads of shirts. And then you have a set of drawers below and an open cubby above. Basically a full-size closet, tiny house terms anyway. And I do appreciate that there's open space under the bed, which is great for storing a suitcase, which is perfect for an Airbnb stay. If you were going to live in here full time, I would highly recommend turning this bed into a storage bed on hydraulic arms so that it would lift up on the side and offer loads of storage space underneath the bed that you can more easily get to. Oftentimes you see storage beds like that lift up on the end, but on the side here would be a lot more convenient. Another thing to consider for full-time living is the door. Now, if you want full privacy from the rest of the house, you might really appreciate being able to close a solid door like this. I get it. If it was me, I would remove the door because I would probably want to leave it open most of the time. And then I'm just blocking all the lovely natural light that comes in from these windows. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, what's important to you. There's other options you could do. An accordion door would work here. I don't know how nice those look. I have to check to see if they got some updated designs to see if that was worth it. You could do a beaded curtain for a little flare, or you could just leave it open because the bed is already tucked away. It already has a sense of privacy and separation from the rest of the house. So just something to keep in mind about what's important to you. If you did want to opt for a solid door, that makes this a closed off room from the rest of the house. You know, the mini split is in the other room, so you would want to install a vent fan in the wall that would pull in air from out there to give you heating and cooling for optimal comfort. We have absolutely loved our stay at the Cedar and Sage Hideaway. It is a perfect romantic getaway. But if you're interested in more small space design ideas for your future tiny home, then check out this playlist right here.